operating system, the very common, the basic things. So Linux is open source operating system, but you can easily get the Linux operating system. You don't need to pay it, and there are a lots of versions of the Linux operating system. So come to the point about the components of Linux operating system. So when I talk about the components of Windows operating system or the architecture of Windows operating system, which is not which is similarity but not similar or not as like as Windows as Linux. If you go to the diagram of the architecture of Windows operating system, so you can see the architecture is like this way. But when you need to know the architecture of Linux operating system, the architecture look like this way, and these are the components of Linux operating system. First of all, the kernel. Both Windows and Linux both have the kernel, and kernel is the core part of your code, core part of the program and core part of your operating system. Kernel actually creates the bridge between the computer operating system and application software. Guys, from the Google Classroom, did all of you check your custom exam date and time, both the written and oral? Guys, do all of
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
So, your exam portion will be uploaded at the Google Classroom. So, you don't need to join at the class. Directly go to the classroom, Google Classroom, and collect your question. Another thing, after submit your copy, you don't need to call me. At the Facebook group, I will give the announcement after 1 hour that whose copy I got and whose copy I did not get. And there will be a mail address in the question paper, you can see. So all of you must submit your copy at that mail address. And also you all must have to write down your section, serial and ID. These three things for the subject name of the Gmail account. You also get all the instruction in the question paper. So all of you look at the question paper very carefully, read the question and write all of the answers. So kernel is a core port of our Linux operating system. Then the system library. So in the Windows operating system there is dynamic link library. In Linux operating system there is system library. So dynamic link library and system library both work similarity. The difference is that system library for Linux operating system which have the special function and the special purpose. For the Linux programming or the utility access for kernel features, the library implementation must be of the functionalities of operating system and do not require kernel mode code access rights. That means whenever you think about the system dynamic link library of Windows operating system, it connected with the environment of the Windows operating system and also the system libraries of Windows operating system. But in Linux operating system, there is no system dynamic link library. There is only one system library, that is make the environment for both the application software and for both the operating system. When you try to install any application software for Linux operating system, the easiest thing is that in the terminal you need to write down the application software name with the code. Automatically your operating system will download that application software, and after that you need to write the command for install that specific application software. So your operating system automatically installs the application software. Whenever you think about the Windows operating system, what we actually do, we actually click next and click all of the options one by one. So that is the difference between Linux and Windows operating system. About the system link library and system utilities. System utilities means that it protects your operating system. Means all types of backup softwares. In Windows operating system, for utility, you need to install the antivirus, you need to install the firewall, and you need to install some firewall software also for protecting your computer. But whenever you are thinking about the Linux operating system, you don't need to actually install the utilities program or any types of antivirus. Your Linux operating system automatically provides the shell of security in your computer, because before you install any types of application software, it always, whether it is a legal application or illegal application software, and then it will allow you to install it. It is done whole process by the Linux operating system. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Then the difference between kernel mode and user mode in Linux operating system. So Windows operating system, there are two modes, kernel mode and user mode. In Linux operating system, there are also two modes, kernel mode and user mode. So kernel mode is known as privileged mode, which is support the same thing. Then as like a Windows operating system, the interrupts, then the process control, then the switching, process switch, then thread, then routing. Before turn on your computer, all of the things that is happen done by kernel mode. And the user mode work as like as a Windows operating system, that for the user mode, all types of application software. Then when we try to run any application software, when we run any application software, when we provide user ID or password, that is related with the your user mode, and user mode is related with the system library, because system library create the environment for your application software, that whether the application software is appropriate for your operating system or not. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Now the features of Linux operating system. First of all, portable. Portable means you can install your Linux operating system any types of device. That is called portable. Open source. Open source means you can easily and freely install application software without pay a single penny. Multi-user. Multi-user means that through a single device, a multiple user can use. Actually, in Linux operating system, there are several options. There is a user option, there is admin option, there is guest option. That is want to use your computer, but there are lots of important files and folders with this security. So at that point of time, you can open the guest option for your for the user. So the user can run his choice of things from the guest user, and the guest user cannot be able to see what are the application is installed in the as a user mode and the admin mode. So that is called the multi-user. That is not actually possible in Windows operating system. Windows have two types. One is user, another one is administrator. But user and administrator both can see all types of application software. But whenever it is Linux operating system, when you are used from the guest purpose, you cannot see any types of application software, but the actual user or admin is installed. Multi-programming. Windows and Linux both provide the multi-programming, means at the same time you can run different types of programs. At the same time you can run YouTube, at the same time you can run browser, at the same time you can run WordPress, at the same PHP, the same thing. Hierarchical file system. So whenever we try to install an application software, we save any file and folder, the way the Linux operating system save it according to the hierarchical structure means the alphabetical list. First of all the files and folders which name is A. Then all the files and folders which name is B, like this way. Then shell. Shell means the terminal. That in the terminal in Linux operating system you have to write all the code, and from the terminal you have to actually run on your Linux operating system. And security. Linux provide more security than the Windows operating system. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question you can ask. Then the architecture of Linux operating system. So the previous one and this one both are the architecture. So in Linux there is the hardware layer. Remember guys, whenever it is Windows operating system, there is hardware layer, there is the device driver. Two types of hardware abstraction layer. Hardware abstraction layer is work for your internal device and device driver was work for your external device in Windows operating system. But whenever you come about the Linux operating system, the hardware layer is work for both the internal and external devices. Then kernel, already you know that kernel is a core code that make the relationship between the application software and operating system. Shell means the terminal where you write your code, and according to the code it run all the applications, files and folders. And utilities means that is provide the security and do most of the important functionality of your Linux operating system. Important functionality means if there is any problem occur to boot up the Linux operating system, it automatically boot it up. If any problem occur with graphical user interface in Linux operating system, it automatically upgrades the graphical user interface in Linux. So this is the plus point for our Linux operating system. So guys, up to this slide, if you have any question you can ask. Guys, for your written and oral, you have to memorize all of the slides from slide 1 to 3, whatever I gave you. So at the oral exam time, I will ask you the direct question that define this or tell what is this, what is that. 10 question I will ask at your oral exam, total 100 marks. Also for written, 100 marks. And the question, if you find out that in the answer there are diagrams is in the slide is given, so you must be draw the diagrams with your answer. So in chapter 4 we gonna learn about the process management. So actually this chapter is very much important for your actually the operating system, that how the processes work and your CPU. Process management means that your processor, how your processor is manage the work, how your processor is doing all the work, what are the processing purpose and what are the processing structure of your processor. That is called the process management system. So first of all, what is actually process? A program in execution, when we execute a program, that is a process. Process execution must progress in sequential fashion, and a process does not indicate separate processor. CPU means also the processor. Process means when we do the execution. So say for example, after I write the code in code block, then I click on the run button. Then after 3 to 4 seconds, you can see the output. So before see the output and after click on the run button, whatever is happened, that is called the execution. And process management means that after initiation of a program, we demand Program should be completed as early as possible, or at least the CPU should start execution of my program as early as possible. Process management means that there should be the sequence of your process. So if you think about your C programming language, if you think about if-else condition, now think that in the if-else or nested if-else, if it is match up with the last condition, that is called the worst condition or the worst case. If your condition is match out with the first condition, that is called the best case. So process management is also like that way. So there are the sequential order of doing the work. So when you go for doing the sequential tasks or sequential order, at that point of time, you need to do that what process you need to do first, what process you need to do later on. That is called the process management. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. And guys, for your oral exam time, don't be late. And according to the time slot which I have gave, according to your serial wise. Now the elements of the process. So for this diagram, these are the description that what are the elements. So each process is represented in the operating system by a process control block. This is the process control block, that is also called the task control block. So process control block means the task control block. First of all, the identifier, unique process ID. So for each of the process there is a unique ID. Say for example, when we developed our database, at that point of time there is a primary key. With the primary key, we can search, we can delete, we can update any of the information. Then state, new, ready, running, waiting, halt, and so on. State means that in the later on this chapter, you learn about that what is actually state. State means that whether your process are in the new, or it is ready, or it is already executing, or your process is in the waiting list, or process is actually halt. Halt means it is actually stopped and it provides the output. Then priority, process priority. Already you know that in the interrupt chapter 2, you learn about that when multiple interrupts occur, if it is allow, it allow on the based on the priority. So priority means that which process have the first priority, which process have the second priority. Program counter. Program counter indicates the address of next instruction to be executed for this process. Means at the future, which process they need to execute, that is done by the program counter. Memory pointers, that is include pointers to the program code and data associated, plus any memory block shared with other processes. So memory pointer actually point the program code and data associated. Means memory pointer say that in this memory block, these are the data is holded. In this memory block, these are the program is holded. That is called memory pointers. Then context data. Context data means that the value of processor register. Value of processor register means that what value your register is hold. Value means what file your register is hold or what data your register is hold. Then IO status information. IO status information, which is include outstanding IO requests, assign IO devices, and a list of files in use, and so on. Guys, let me take your attendance first, then I take the class again because the net connection is very poor in my area. And after take the attendance, don't leave. I will complete the half chapter from this process, and this chapter is very important. If you miss it, you miss a lots of important things. Serial 1.
Present, ma'am.
2. Serial 3.
Yes, ma'am.
4. 5. 7.
Ma'am, serial.
Yes, ma'am.
Serial 7.
Yes, ma'am.
8. 9. 10.
Yes, ma'am.
11. 12.
Yes, ma'am.
13.
Present, ma'am.
14. 15.
Yes, ma'am.
16.
Yes, ma'am.
17.
Yes, ma'am.
18. 19.
Yes, ma'am.
20.
Present, ma'am.
21.
Present, ma'am.
22.
Present, ma'am.
23.
Yes, ma'am.
24.
Yes, ma'am.
25. 26. 27.
Yes, ma'am.
28.
Yes, ma'am.
29.
Yes, ma'am.
30. 31.
Yes, ma'am.
32.
Yes, ma'am.
33.
Ma'am, she was.
Yes, ma'am.
34.
Present, please.
35. 36.
Yes, ma'am.
37.
Yes, ma'am.
38. 39.
Yes, ma'am.
40.
Present, ma'am.
41.
Present, ma'am.
42.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys.
Madam, 9, madam. Madam, 9.
Ma'am.
Serial 30,
Two,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Serial 30, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Serial 14.
Serial 2, ma'am.
Ma'am, serial 14.
Serial 2.
2, G, ma'am.
Okay.
Serial 14. 14.
Yeah,
Rapstan.
13. Okay. Yeah, 13 I gave.
35.
Ma'am, 38 present.
Ma'am, serial 35.
In 45.
Any more? Okay, let's get back to the study. So, IO status information that include outstanding IO requests, assigned IO devices, and a list of files and so on. So, IO status information related with your IO devices. That now your pointer is clicking on which application. Now your keyboard is click on which alphabet. That is called IO status information. And accounting information, the amount of process time and the clock time. The amount of process time and the clock time used, time limits, account numbers, and so on. So accounting time means that in the processor for within 1 to 5 seconds, how many processes are waiting, how many processes are coming, how many multitasking is happening. That is called the account information. Guys, just 1 second, I am coming back. Accounting information. So accounting information means that how many process are waiting, how many process are working, how many process are in the running state. So it is count. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Then the example of process execution. One example is press, another example is dispatcher. So first of all, what is press? The behavior of an individual process can be characterized by listing the sequence of instructions that executed for the process. The behavior of the processor can be characterized by the showing how the trace of the various processes are interleaved. So trace means that without giving the priority, you take the process one by one. Say for example, at your oral exam time, I will call you one by one according to your serial wise. That is called trace. Serial 2, serial 3, serial 4, like this way. That is called trace. Now, dispatcher, a small program that switches processor from one process to another process. Now, dispatcher means that a small program that switches one processor from the one process to another process. Say for example, your oral exam will be held on 6th July from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, at the same date, you have two exams. One exam, my exam is from 10 to 12. So, according to your serial, your exam will hold from 10 to 10:30 and your another exam will hold from 10:30 to 11, like this way. So, what you will do? First, you will come for my exam, you will give my exam and then you go to your next exam. That is actually called the dispatcher. That the process or the program is switched from one processor to another processor. That is called dispatcher. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. So this diagram is represented the execution of the process. That how the process execution is worked. So program counter 8000. So this is the address of this process. That now process B will be executing. So program counter will hold the address that which process it will executing. First of all, what is happened that look at this table. So from 5000 up to 8000, process A continuing the work. After complete the process A, then it go for the process B within 8000 to 8003. So in process B, there are 4 types of process. Look at process 1, there are lots of process. So first of all, your processor will execute all the processes from process A. After that, your processor will execute all the process from process B. After that, your processor will execute all the process of process C. Now, by this arrow sign, it is represented that your program counter holds the address of 8000 means the process B. So, when it is executing process A, at that point of time, it is hold the address that which process your processor need to be next for the execution. So that is actually happen in this diagram. You know your program counter is hold the next address of the execution. So guys, at the exam time, I can give you this diagram. So in this diagram, whatever I am just saying to you, you have to write the things like that way. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Now come to the point about this diagram. What is happened? Actually represent the example with the dispatcher that you learn that from a small program which is transferred from one process to another process with the help of processor. Now, what is happening here actually, first of all, my process A is executing. So, there is a time limit that in process A, in the previous picture, you see that process said that these types of processes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, total 12 process. Process B have 4 process, process C have again 12 process. Now come to this diagram. Whenever my processor start to execution of process A, up to 6 process, it is timeout. Timeout means for each and every process, the processor provides a time that within 3 seconds, within 2 seconds, within 10 seconds, I will execute the full process of process A, or process B, or process C. You see there are 12 process in process A. Time within, let's think that within 2 seconds it is timeout. That within 2 seconds it can execute these 6 process only. Then what will happen? Then it go for the IO request and it go for the process B. And in process B, it again start to execute from 8000 to 3. So it is already completed because it has 4 tasks, but it needs 3 seconds to complete 6 tasks, but 3 seconds it can complete 4 tasks. So process B is done. Then it again go for the IO request. IO request means your pointer or now your external device or internal device is point on which process. So then it go for process C. After that process C, it take the 6 process first, then again it timed out, means already time is up. So again what happened, there is IO request is occurred. So this is the IO request. Again it go for the first process and it is start to work the process which is not done from 5006 to 5001. After complete all the tasks within 3 seconds time out, then already process B is complete. So you don't need to worry about process B. It go for the process C and complete the extended tasks. So this is actually happen when it is timed out and it is help with the dispatcher. So guys, at the exam time, I can give you also this diagram. You have to explain what is happened in this diagram. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Now there is the process creation. So first of all there is root. Then there is in it, there is swapper, there is paging. Then in it there are several types of users. So this is the process tree of Unix operating system. Now look at here what is written, that a process may create several new process during the execution time. The creating process is called a parent process. Process which are called the child process of that process. Each of the new process in turn create other process, forming the tree of process. So that means here you see, dude, this is the parent process, these are the child process. In this child process, again it creates another child process, so it becomes the parent process of this child process. Now of this child process, again it creates some new process. So this process becomes the parent process and this process becomes the child process. So by this way the process is creating. Means inside a single process, lots of process can be created. Say for example, when you write a big C programming code, in your program there is if statement, there is for each loop. Also there is the list. At that point of time, your whole program is called the root. And whenever the program is separated part by part, that is called the child process. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Then process creation, resource sharing. Parent and children share all the resources. Children share subset of parent resources. Parent and children share no resources. So that means from the parents, all the children get all of the resources. Children share their resources with the parents. Parent and child share no resources. That means a single child means the single one. The single one shares with the parents and parent cannot share with the single one. It have to share the resources with all the children. It cannot be biased. So parent and child cannot share any resources. Parent and children can share resources. Then execution. Parent and children execute concurrently. That means parent will decide that which process will execute first, which process will execute last, which child will execute first, which child will execute last. Parent waits until the children is terminated. So until the children process is completed, parent will be running. Parent cannot be stopped. Then address space. Child duplicate of parent. Child has a program loaded into it. So that means that in the parent can create a lot of children. So all the children have the duplicate parent, means same parent, and all the child have the same location. Same location means parent location is 0, child location is from 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So in a same memory block, it is fragmentation, means separate by separate. So if I draw it in the whiteboard, so this is the parent process. So its address is 0. Now child can upload the parent process address. So for child it is divided the full memory block. So each of the division is actually called the fragmentation. You learn this thing at your last chapter, chapter 7. So this will for 0.1 for your child, 0.2, 0.3, like this way. So guys, in this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. Then reasons for process creation. Now why process creation is occurred? Guys, there are the reasons for process termination, then the reasons for process suspension. So guys, all of you must remember all the reasons for process creation, process suspension or process termination, because at the first term this slide is not included, but for your another two terms, mean mid-term and final term, that new batch job is under which thing? Process creation, process termination, process suspension. You have to tell me. Also, I can ask that, right? Tell me the reasons for process creation. Also, I can ask that what is new batch job, or what do you understand by new batch job? So anything I can ask. So you must be memorized the reasons for process creation, reasons for process termination, reasons for process suspension. First of all, the new batch job. The operating system is provide a batch job control stream, usually on a tape or a disk. When the operating system is prepared to take on new work, it will read the next sequence of job control commands. So new batch job means that now your processor is running something. At that point of time, a new work is come. So it will first one hold the new work in the disk or in the tape, and it will give that when it will go for the new job. Then interactive logon, a user at a terminal logs onto the system. Interactive logon means that you log in with your system. Whenever you provide the user ID and password and enter the dashboard of your operating system, that is called interactive logon, created by operating system to provide a service. The operating system can create a process to perform a function on behalf of the user program without the user having to wait. That means whenever the operating system is already run one process, at that point of time, it gets that which process it needs to be executed. So that's why it don't need to be wait. Your processor creates the process of your operating system. That means when you go to the control panel, then you click the administrative tools, you see lots of applications are in the running state. That is done by the creator of your processor. Expanded by existing process for purpose of modularity or to explorate parallelism. A user program can dictate the creation of number of processes. That means the multitasking. So with the help of your processor, you can do at the same time several tasks. That is called the parallelism. In this slide, if you have any question, you can ask. So guys, do any of you left or give the attendance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay guys, so that's all for today. You can leave the classroom. Thank you guys.
Ma'am, serial number, ma'am. Serial number 18.